Okay, I'm just going to jump right in here. Utah police repeatedly shoot autistic teen after his mom called 911 for help. This article is today, very recent. Apparently, Friday night, a 13-year-old Utah boy with autism is recovering in the hospital after police responding to his mom's 911 call for help repeatedly shot the teen. LINDEN Cameron, who has Asperger's syndrome, was left in serious condition with injuries to his intestines, bladder, shoulder, and ankles from the shooting. His mother: "He's a small child. Why didn't you just tackle him? He's a baby. He has mental issues." Barton said she called 911 on Friday for help with her son, who was experiencing a mental breakdown at their home. When officers responded, she told them that Linden was unarmed and that he needed to be hospitalized. Look at this kid, 13-year-old kid, shot up, okay? I said, "He's unarmed. He doesn't have anything. He just gets mad and starts yelling and screaming," the mom says. Police told her to stay outside while they went into the house, but minutes later, she heard the officers order Linden to get down on the ground. He probably didn't do it because he's mentally ill, going crazy, 13-year-old little kid. Now, the Salt Lake City police sergeant said that Friday the officers feared that the teen might have a weapon, okay? Cameron had attempted to flee the house on foot, then one of the officers shot him. Our investigators obviously will be looking at the body camera footage. Can't wait to see that. His mother said her son was handcuffed and officers were unable to tell her whether he was alive. Why didn't they tase him? Why didn't they shoot him with a rubber bullet, she says. You're big police officers with massive amounts of resources. Come on, give me a break. Okay, look, this is not a condemnation on police. They got a tough job. I get it. There's going to be situations like this. It's a terrible tragedy. I don't condone it. This should not happen. But where's the outrage from the white community? We're not burning down Starbucks, going in people's faces at restaurants. That's not what you see the white community doing. This is a shame. It's terrible. Okay, and I'm sure she'll sue and go through the proper courses. But where's the reporting on this? Now, imagine this. What if this were a black 12-year-old, black 13-year-old? What would you be hearing all over? How many more riots would be happening right now? You see, this is a completely false narrative that this thing is based on race. So twice as many whites are killed. I think everybody knows that. And the left media likes to say they're 3.5 times more likely, yeah, by population, but it just so happens the white population isn't committing near as many crimes. So the ones who are committing all the violent crimes, the mass majority of the murders, the ones that have police contact, they're getting shot, okay? But twice as many whites unarmed. So we're just going to take a little bit of a look, not too deep a dive, we're going to take a little bit of a look, knowing that whites are killed twice as often, knowing that situations like this happen, and yet we hear nothing about it. It may be a quick shot on a newspaper, but that's it. No massive media coverage. But we have others, and they're all comparable to like what we've seen with George Floyd, to what we've seen with Blake, all these guys. Everything's comparable, right? This guy would be a Blake comp, right? He's comparable to Blake. They think he's got a weapon. They shoot him as he's running away. He's a 12-year-old kid with a perfectly clean criminal record, okay? 13-year-old, sorry. So, I guess it's a comparable to Blake, but, obviously this is much more egregious. But we'll take a look at some others. Here's one here. Let's see. Minnesota woman called 911 to report assault, was fatally shot by cops. So this is an example where a woman called 911. She was afraid of an intruder, an assault, whatever. The cops get to her house. There's no intruders, no one else there but her. They end up gunning her down. She's completely unarmed, no criminal record. What if this was a black woman? This is the Breonna Taylor comp, except for there's no guy shooting at the cops, right? Here's your Breonna Taylor comp, okay? Then we have, oh boy, sorry about this. Oh boy, what'd they do to me? Okay, here we go. So this is Dallas, right? You're gonna kill me. So this is your George Floyd comp, okay? This is a guy who called the cops on himself because he was having a mental breakdown. By the time the cops got there, some security guard had already handcuffed him. They had him on his stomach. They knelt on his back and injected him with something until he died. This is a comp of that, innocent black kid who was injected by something when he died. This is a comp of George Floyd. These are egregious killings. We get it. It's a very small number of police incidents, okay? Really a tiny fraction. But this stuff happens with every single race. This is one where a guy just had driving without a license, right? Driving without a license. Family outrage after Winchester police chase leads a man to drowning as officers watch. The guy's literally in the creek going, help me. You can all look up the video. Help me. I can't breathe. Help me. Help me. They're like, oh, ha, ha. Oh, by the way, common theme, laughing as they're kneeling on his neck. Laughing as this guy's drowning. I didn't hear him laughing when they were on Floyd's neck. If you're going to look at the level of egregiousness, the level of outrage, these white killings are way more egregious and should set forth way more outrage, and they happen twice as often. So knowing this, And knowing that CNN never tells you about this, never runs it, and the only thing they run is how blacks are getting killed by cops. And so therefore, what happens to people who don't pay attention much, who don't do their own research, or they're just living their life, they don't understand. They accept the false narrative. And then guess what? They start groups like Black Lives Matter, based on a complete lie, on Michael Brown trying to grab the gun of a police officer, all right, under Obama's own Justice Department investigated, found that he was absolutely justified in shooting that guy. And that's how we started Black Lives Matter. That was like round one, Black Lives Matter. They start marching, blacks start dying, right? Then round two is Floyd and Blake, 2 and 3, right? So this whole idea that there's this uprising and these police are targeting blacks is completely a lie. And yet we have all of our Democrats and a lot of our Republicans pandering to this movement. Our corporations shelling them hundreds of millions of dollars. And while this is happening, we have Vice President Biden, Kamala Harris, going to visit or having phone calls with Blake, who's on a warrant for felony sexual assault, telling him how proud they are of him and how they're going to talk to all their family. They're holding this guy up like a hero, okay? Meanwhile, you got this 13-year-old white kid shot. They're going to go talk to him? Are they going to talk to that kid and that kid's mom? I don't think so, because it would expose the fact that whites are also being killed, that innocent whites are also being killed. I say also, but very rarely is it innocent black, but it seems like a lot of innocent whites, completely innocent whites, are getting killed. So this is just unreal to me. We're living in a fantasy world. Every day I get up, I can't believe the ignorance of America, that we're just willing to go along with this false narrative when people know the truth and people are afraid to push back. They're afraid to lose their jobs. They're afraid of what society might think of them if they just tell the truth. And I can't believe we're living right now in a country where the truth gets you branded a racist. It's disgusting. The Black Lives Matter movement has got to stop. I can get into that another video, but I just wanted to throw this up quickly just so you guys can see. This is just appalling that this 13-year-old kid was shot. Look at this kid, right? Appalling. But there's no protests. There's no burning down of buildings. We're going to look into it. We're going to make sure the cops are held accountable if they did something wrong. But this is what happens. I mean, false narratives. I really truly believe that CNN is solely responsible for the division of America. CNN is solely responsible for the creation of Black Lives Matter, for the destruction. Anytime you see mocktail cocktails getting thrown, someone getting killed, blacks coming into a restaurant and destroying the whole thing, that's on CNN. All right, that's all I got. Can't wait to see if the ex-Vice President Kamala Harris go visit this kid, poor kid, tell him they're proud of him. Right? Proud of him. Let's see if that happens. That's all I got. We'll see you next time.